Welcome to Thread Therapy. We are going to work on a granny square. Yay! Now we're finally getting into some real patterns. Now you can start your granny square. It's technically granny squares are working in the round, and there's two different methods for working in the round. There's the magic circle, which I don't use, so I don't know how to teach that. If you want to learn that method, there's plenty of YouTube channels for that, but I just use the chain method. All right, let's see. Get my chain started. Okay, so we are going to chain. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to use 10 to start with our circle, and what you're going to do, you're going to, let's see if I can show you how to do this without the hook first. We're going to make this into a circle by pulling it around and slip stitching into the first stitch. So we'll do that. You just go to this first stitch, put hook in, draw up a loop. There's your circle. Easy peasy. Okay, so now we're going to work our granny square in double crochets. So we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Once you get more experienced, you can trim this tail and you can hide it in your work as you go, but I'll do that in a different video. It's a bit much for beginners. So there's our chain 3. Granny squares are worked in clusters of 3 double crochets, or however many, whatever stitch you're using. Usually double crochets. So there's our first double crochet. Let's go ahead and do our next one. You just do it right inside that loop there. You don't have to go into a chain at all. You just double crochet straight into the center of that loop. All right, there's 2, and then we're going to do 1 more double crochet. Okay, so I pulled up a loop so I can kind of scrunch these back around the side, because I want to make room for our other double crochet sets. Okay, so I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 double crochet and a chain 3. Now we're going to do another 3 double crochet in that circle. So let's go ahead and do that. There's 1, 2, 3, and we're going to pull them all over so we have a little bit of room. So there's 3 double crochet, a chain 3 space, and 3 double crochet. We're going to chain 3 and do our next set of double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and do our last set of double crochet in our circle. The trick to knowing how big to make your circle with your number of stitches, you want to have enough room for all of these double crochet to fit. Okay, and then we're going to chain 3, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of our original chain 3. Okay, so let's look at this. So our circle has become a square. Isn't that neat? Our chain 3 formed our corners. And then we have our 3 sets of double crochets, which make the side of the square. Okay, so you always want to start a granny square from that 3 chain space in the corner. So how do you get there? So you're going to slip stitch into the top of this double crochet, the next double crochet, and a slip stitch into that space to get you where you're supposed to be. So here's how that goes. So you're going to insert your hook through that double thickness. See where it still looks like a chain on the top? You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull it through there and the stitch that was on your hook. Okay, 1 slip stitch. Let's do that again. We're going in this space here on top of that double crochet, going to pull up a loop, go through the double thickness, through the loop on your hook. You want to give it a little bit of length on that so it's not too tight. There's 2 slip stitches, and then we're going into that corner chain 3. So you go into the chain 3, you don't go through any of the chains, pull up a loop, and go pull it right through that loop that was on your hook. So now we've traversed across our double crochets, and we're now in the correct starting spot for our granny square to continue. So how we're going to do that? We're going to chain 3. That's going to be our first double crochet in that cluster. Okay, now we're going to do 2 more double crochets right there for our cluster. So we've got, it's not technically a cluster, it's just 3 double crochets. Clusters are when they're all joined together at the top. These are just plain old double crochets. Okay, so we've started there. Now we're going to make our first corner for our granny square. Remember, the corners are chain 3, so that's what we're going to do. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to turn it to where the stitches that we just worked are on the right. Sorry, I bumped the camera. And now we're going to put 3 more double crochets in that same double crochet, 3 chain loop on the corner. So here we go. Here's 1. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments at the bottom, and I'll do a Q&A video. I know this is a lot different than what we've been doing. Okay, so now we have our corner on our next round. We have part of a side and part of this top side. So now what are we going to do? We're going to, this is a matter, not really debate, it's just personal preference. Some people will chain 1 at this point, some will not. I'm a chain 1 person because I always like to have extra space in there so it doesn't get too tight. So you chain 1 after you double crochet cluster, and then we're going to put 3 double crochets in the next corner. Okay, we're setting up our next round after this one with all of our chain loops. So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we have one side of our square done, and we have to make another corner. Okay, so chain 3 for that corner, and then we're going to do another set of 3 double crochet in that same chain 3 loop. So we have 1, 2. I think the confusion comes from working in the round and where to start your next row on your granny square. Okay, so we have one whole side, we have a corner. Now we're going to work across here. Now chain 1. You'll see why those chain 1s are important here in a minute. We're going to put 3 double crochets in that 3 chain loop on the corner. We're going to just go ahead and blast right on through this corner since we kind of have the idea about that. Okay, so I've done my 3 double crochet. I'm going to chain 3 for my corner. 1, 2, 3. Literally turn it as I go. So now we have 2 sides. and we're going to put 3 double crochet in that chain 3 loop. 1, 2, getting into some fresh yarn now, yay. Okay, going to chain 1, 3 double crochet in this 3 chain corner loop. There's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to chain 3 for our corner, turn it, and do 3 double crochet in that same corner loop there. There's 1, 2, 3. Now, we have all of our sides. 1, 2, 3. We have chain 3 loops to make the corners. We have 2 sets of 3 double crochet in each corner, and we have a chain 1 between each side. So now what we're going to do, we're just simply going to slip, we're going to chain 1 to keep our pattern, and then we're going to slip stitch into the top of our original chain 3. So you just stick it through there, pull a loop through there, and the loop on your hook. Now, with this chunky yarn, it's really over exaggerated. If you were working in worsted weight yarn, this would be half this size. So this is just for instructional purposes. So we're going on to the next row so you can see how to continue from there. Now, you can either fasten off and just connect a bunch of granny squares that size, or you can do what a lot of people have traditionally done, which is called the granny that grew. So a lot of people that, there's a lot of people that can only double crochet, and that's fine. And a lot of them will do the granny that grew. And that's a very common Afghan, and you can change colors as you go. Nothing wrong with it. It's very beautiful work, and it's very easy. It's a project you can just work on and do whatever. Or you could just stitch 4 of these together and make a pot holder or something. That's a good idea. We'll do that in another video. So I need to go to my next round, if you will, and we're going to slip stitch to get to that corner, just like we did on round 1. You just go through the top of those double crochets and pull a loop through everything on the hook. Okay, now you'll see why those chain 1s were important between our sets of double crochet. I'm just going to blast right on through this corner, chain 3, 2 double crochet, so you're not crocheting into double crochets, you're just crocheting into spaces. Okay, chain 3, and then 3 more double crochet. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, but now, okay, we can't just go to the corner. Now we have additional stitches there. That's where that chain 1 comes into play. You're going to chain 1 here on the row we're on, and then you're going to do a 3 double crochet set in that chain 1 space that we did on the previous round. And that's how your granny grows. That's all you have to know, is how to get from one corner to the next, because we know a corner is just 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and then in between, and then I'll chain 1. So see, that's where that chain 1 became so important. That's why I don't like to just go from one double crochet set to the next without a chain, because it gets kind of tight in there. Okay, so we've chained 1 right here, and now we've made it to our corner. So that's 3 double crochet, and then chain 3. Okay, now we're just going to continue on around and finish this round. So we're going to do another 3 double crochet set in the corner. Don't worry about your speed. That's something comes with time and practice. And this is a good practice exercise because granny squares are always practical to have laying around because you can do anything with them. You can make jackets, you can make pot holders, just all kinds of useful things. All right, chain 1. Do our 3 double crochet set in the chain 1 on the previous round. Okay, so we finished that. Going to chain 1, and then we're going to work our corner pattern. 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. All in that chain 3 loop in that corner. One, 2, 3. And then chain 3 double crochet. All right. So we have 2 sides now, and we're going to continue on in the same pattern that we've been doing, where it's chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and I'm going to continue on around and do that, and I'll show you when I get to the end. Okay, so I've made it all the way around, and all I have to do is slip stitch into that top of my starting chain there. All right, and there you have the humble, not so humble granny square. I love granny squares. They are so versatile. So let me share this with you while we're talking about that. I bought this book at Hobby Lobby, 99 Granny Squares to Crochet, and this is by Leisure Arts. So granny squares are not just confined to the traditional granny square that we just did together. That is the traditional granny square, but this book will blow your mind if granny squares is what you love. Look at that. Look at this one. Look at all the detail in that. Look, it has fans. That's just beautiful. And that's a book you can buy probably on Amazon, Hobby Lobby. I don't even know if they still have that in print. Look, there's all these. Isn't that beautiful? All right, that's the granny square.